per contest for the year, so I don't think we'll see a whole lot of scoring in this one, but I do like the chalk. Give me Indiana -2 after buying the half a point, and the under 144 in that one. Next game, Syracuse at Duke. That's going to be a 7 o'clock tip-off at Cameron Indoor. Duke's -17, totals 145 and a hook. 56% are leaning Syracuse, 67% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, the Orange are plus 1,300 for some money line cash. Now, if you like Syracuse catching all those points, just keep in mind they're going up against a Duke squad who is 5-0 straight up in their last 5 at Cameron Indoor. They're also 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 ball games. Duke is 14-1 straight up overall for the year, 10-5 against the spread in those ball games. They rank 3rd in college basketball in offensive scoring. And speaking of the scoring, Duke is 11-3 to the under in their last 14. Their defense is allowing just 59 points per contest at Cameron Indoor. Meanwhile, on the other side, Syracuse is 9-3 to the under in their last dozen. So with all that said and done, very unorthodox lean. Probably won't be my strongest lean for the day, but I do like Duke -17 and the under 145.5 in that one. Next game, Wisconsin at Maryland. 8:30 tip-off at Maryland. The Terrapins open 3, up to -3.5. Total open 136.5, up to 137. 58% are leaning Maryland, 54% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Wisconsin Badgers are plus 145 for some money line cash. Now, if you like the Badgers on the road here, just keep in mind they're taking on a Terrapins team who is 14-3 straight up overall for the year, 11-2 straight up at home. This Maryland defense is ranked 4th in college basketball in defensive rebounding. They've also successfully covered the number in 7 out of their last 10. Now, when it comes to the scoring, Maryland's 5-0 to the over in their last 5, also 5-0 to the over in their last 5 at home. Meanwhile, on the Wisconsin side, they are ranking 14th in college basketball in three-point shooting. So we should see some scoring in this matchup here. Give me Maryland -3 after buying the half a point, and the over 137 in that one. All right, next and final game for our college slate. It is going to be Texas at Kansas, 9 o'clock tip-off in Kansas. The Jayhawks opened 8.5 down to 8, totals at 138. 62% are leaning Kansas, 66% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, Texas is plus 320 for some money line cash. Now, Kansas is 14-2 straight up overall for the year, a perfect 13-0 straight up at home. This Kansas defense is allowing their opponents to shoot just 39% from the field. That's ridiculous. Meanwhile, Texas is just 1-6 straight up in their last 7 on the road. Now, scoring-wise, Kansas is 3-1 to the under in their last 4. Texas 4-1 to the under in their last 5 themselves. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean the Kansas Jayhawks -8 and the under 138 in that one. All right, next and final segment for the show, it is going to be the NHL. And I'm talking about Chicago at New Jersey, 7 o'clock puck drop in the Meadowlands. Well, not quite the Meadowlands. We're looking more Newark than anything, the Prudential Center. But anyway, the Devils are -150, totals at 6. 54% are leaning Chicago, 72% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Blackhawks are plus 135 for some money line cash. The Devils are plus 170 for some puck line cash. Now, if you like the Devils at home, you're in a pretty good spot here. They're taking on a Chicago team who's dropped 5 out of their last 6. The Blackhawks also rank 30th in the NHL in goals allowed. Chicago's just 8-12-3 away from home, and they're winning a measly 22% of their games at the current market price. Now, total-wise, New Jersey is 5-2-3 to the over in their last 10, taking on Chicago. So with all that said and done, not a real good price here. Pretty tough game to play. But anyway, give me New Jersey -150 and the over. 6 goals in that one. Next game, Blues, Capitals. 7 o'clock puck drop in the nation's capital. Washington opened $2, down to -180. Totals 5.5. St. Louis is plus 150 for some money line cash. Washington is plus 160, laying the goal and a half. Now, if you like Washington at home here, just keep in mind they're taking on a St. Louis team who successfully covered the puck line in 4 out of their last 6. They're also 5-1 straight up in their last 6 on the road. St. Louis does rank 2nd in goals allowed on the road. Very good defensive-wise away from home. They're also 4-2 straight up in their last 6. Now, scoring-wise, we're looking at a Washington team who's 8-4 to the under in their last dozen, 4-2 to the under in their last 6 at home. So with all that said and done, I'm actually going to take St. Louis plus 1.5 on the puck line and the under 5.5 goals in that one. Next game, Colorado at Toronto, 7 o'clock puck drop in Toronto. The Maple Leafs open 180 all the way up to minus 215. Totals at 6. Colorado's plus 165. Toronto's plus 125, laying the goal and a half. Now, Toronto's 10-5 straight up in their last 15 at home. They're winning nearly 70% of their games, taking on teams allowing more than 2.9 goals per contest. Now, Colorado, on their side of things, well, they're winning just 38% of their games as the official road underdog. They rank 24th in goals allowed on their side of things. Now, when it comes to the totals, Colorado's 4-1 to the over in their last 5, 13-7 to the over in their last 20 on the road when the line was 6 or higher. So with all that said and done, I'm going to make a very chalky play in this one. Give me Toronto minus 1.5 in the over. 6 goals in that one. Next game, Minnesota Wild at the Flyers. That's going to be a 7 o'clock puck drop in South Philly. Minnesota's minus 120 on the road, total 6. 64% are leaning Minnesota, 73% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, Philly's plus 105 at home for some money line cash. Minnesota's plus 220 for some puck line cash. And if you like Minnesota, they are 4-2 straight up in their last 6, 4-1 straight up in their last 5 on the road. Philadelphia on the other side, well, they rank 29th in goals scored at home, really not able to put up points on their home ice. They also rank 27th in goals allowed at home, so really giving up a lot of points on their home ice in South Philly. Now, scoring-wise, Philadelphia is 4-1 to the over. That is absolutely incorrect. Scoring-wise, Philadelphia is 4-1 to the under in their last 5. Minnesota 10-4 to the under in their last 14. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Minnesota minus 120, getting the job done on the road, and the under 6 goals in that one. Next game, St. Louis. No, that is incorrect. Next game, Montreal at the Bruins. That's going to be a 7:30 puck drop in Boston. The Bruins open 210 all the way down to minus 180. Totals at 5.5. 70% are leaning Boston. 54% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, Montreal is plus 160 for some money line cash. The Bruins plus 145, laying the goal and a half. Now, Boston is 16-6 straight up on their home ice this year, 6-1 straight up in their last 7 at any location. Meanwhile, on the Montreal side of things, they rank 22nd in shots allowed on the road. They're also winning just 40% of their games, taking on teams allowing less than 2.6 goals per contest. When it comes to the scoring, this Montreal defense is allowing 3.13 goals per contest on the road. That ranks 19th in the NHL. Meanwhile, on the Bruins side of things, well, they're scoring over 3.5 goals per game. They're actually scoring 3.6 goals per contest for the year. That ranks 5th in the NHL in that category. So with all that said and done, it's a very expensive price, but I got to make a play on it. Give me Boston minus 180. And the over 5.5 goals in this one. And you got to be kidding me with this cell phone. This is unbelievable. Enough with the text messages. All right, next and final game for the show. It is going to be Buffalo at Edmonton. What's the over/under on how many times that phone is going to ring with a text message? I'm gonna lay it at 3.5 for our next game. This is unbelievable. What kind of text chain am I on right now? Anyway, next and final game for the show. It is going to be Buffalo at Edmonton. 9 o'clock puck drop at the Oilers. Edmonton open 130, down to minus 120. Totals at 6. 64%. There's one on the text message. There's one. I set the over-under at 3.5. There's one just in this final game. Unbelievable. Anyway, Edmonton open minus 130, down to minus 120. Totals at 6. 64% are leaning Buffalo. 62% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, Buffalo's plus 105 for some money line cash. Edmonton plus 215, laying the goal and a half. Now, if you like Edmonton in this one, they are just 2-6 straight up in their last. I'm sorry, that is incorrect. If you like Buffalo in this one, just keep in mind they are 2-6 straight up in their last 8. They're also just 1-8 straight up in their last 9 away from home. This Buffalo defense ranks 26th in shots allowed. They're also winning just 40% of their games as the official road underdog. Now, when it comes to the scoring, Edmonton's just 35% to the over at home when the line was 6 or higher. They're also 12-9-1 to the under on their home ice, 4-2 to the under in their last 6 at any location. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Edmonton minus 120 in the under. 6 goals in that one.